The BMW and J.J. LEHTO starting last in the field. We'll ride on board with him as he tries to cut through traffic and catch his teammate in the Porsches for the GT class win.
We're going to get a look here, just what he's seeing. Now that's the Porsche following. This is an incredibly fast car. Watch this coming off the corner. Little smoke right there. Hopefully that ends in engine smoke, maybe just brake smoke. He's exiting down now. He's heading down towards Melbourne here, I believe. Yep. You're going to see him go over the crest of a little hill. Now he's steeply downhill. See the Porsche close up under braking, turning in. Watch the G-force on the bottom. You can see over 1 and the acceleration 80, 90, 100. Very quick car.
It is complete. I'm going to see a tyre change as well. So Martin Haven, more news.
Dramatic scenes in the BMW pit. The 42 car came in with Jörg Müller at the wheel. They'd completed a regular stop, but it's had damage on the right-hand side and now keeps bursting into flames around the exhaust exit port. Now the team are standing in place with fire extinguishers. The bizarre thing is that Jörg hasn't even turned the engine over at this stage. He expects a bit of flames back when he does start it up, but it doesn't seem to be related to the engine, so they have got a slightly more major problem than they thought they had when the car was half a lap away from the pits.
Martin, actually that is totally related to the engine. The flames were coming out the exhaust pipe. In fact, we can watch right now. There is something has broken in the fuel system, and instead of dumping small amounts of fuel into the cylinder, they must be getting giant amounts.
Fuel injection?
Fuel injection. I would say a pump is broken.
So problems for the BMWs. The other car, the team car, was out earlier in the race in the garage a couple of times with electrical system problems, and now this one for Jörg Müller with the fuel system going awry. Part of the growing pains of developing a new power plant that this team is struggling through.
BMW flamethrower.
It starts off as your basic production car.
Now, here we have BMW playing a game with Porsche. I'll guarantee that his team manager says, go out, sit on his tail, try to rattle him, try and get him to make a mistake. Don't worry about passing. Just get there and look, move to the left, move to the right, occupy the mirror. Smart move by the Porsche.
Now the BMW is only probably, what, 30 laps behind him?
Exactly, and with Alex Job's experience here, he would probably radio out and say, let him go, don't take a chance.
Well, let's see exactly what he is behind him here. Looking down for where Jörg Müller is. He's 6 laps behind him.
That poor little car is really battered. You see both flares are missing down the right-hand side from a contact with one of the banks here. It's still spinning a lot.
As they line up in the field here today. Today we've got a couple of rides in the BMWs. Bill Auberlen and Nick Johnson in the 10. That's one of the factory BMWs. Actually, Tom Milner's prototype group. The 43 machine, that's the other factory BMW. Dirk Müller and Frederick Ekblom, and they line up in 12th spot today. And they will have a great run, I think, in that V8 powered machine. Let's check in on that battle, though, for GT dominance. The 4 factory-prepared BMWs that we talked about at the top of the broadcast. Well, Bill Auberlen's at the head of the class by a good bit over Dirk Müller and J.J. LEHTO. This is one of Tom Milner's PTG cars, so not a factory-run team.
Now, right now, they're winning the battle of egos between the 4 BMW cars.
As we take a look at your GT class points in the American Le Mans Series, brought to you by BMW. Sasha Maassen and Lucas Lohr, Randy Popes, those are Porsche-mounted drivers. And Boris Sett and Hans Stuck tied for 5th. They're a couple of the BMW pilots, and they drive for Tom Milner's Prototype Technologies team.
Excellent battles all the way through here.
Riding with Auberlen in the 10 car now. He is 11th overall and leading the GT category down the front straightaway, which, as you mentioned earlier, Bill, really isn't much of a front stretch. You kind of create an arc out of the final corner.
The whole course is just one long arc. You kind of go inside to outside edge. You're so rarely going in a straight line here.
Back at Sears Point Raceway in Sonoma, California, the American Le Mans Series on NBC Sports. Today, the X Factor Grand Prix of Sonoma. I'm Rick Benjamin, Bill Adam alongside. Calvin Fish, Martin Haven on pit road for us. We've had a cycle of pit stops, not quite to halfway today. And here's how things stack up right now. Emmanuel Pirro in the 2 car for the Audi team is out in front. Tom Christensen has just taken over the number 1 machine that led early from Dindo Capello. He has fallen back off of those pit stops to 2nd. David Brabham, Jan Magnussen still 3rd in their Panos machine. Andy Wallace, Johnny Herbert sit 4th.
PTG, which is the North American team, 2 run by the Schnitzer team out of Germany. Schnitzer team runs on Michelin tires. The PTG team runs on Yokohama tires. So those cars, as similar as they are not exactly the same. Look at this train of GT car.
Feeling the mood a little bit here, and has got the bit firmly clenched and is after Johnson big time. Now there are reports as well of some damage to the front end of the number 30 White Lightning, Peterson Racing, MPIE, and Westward Ho Casino Porsche.
He could go under that Porsche there into turn 9, and he does, but he didn't go until he knew the Porsche was going to leave room. Otherwise, you just take a lot of chances.
Now he blows by Nicholas Johnson, and you can see the ring. Now we're on board with the number 10 machine. This is Bill Oberlin, who's worked his way up into the second spot at GT. And let's take a look, Jeremy, at some of the telemetry from this car.
Well, that yellow graph is the speed graph, and you can see it building speed up the back straightaway. Now, let's keep careful note of the speed through the S's of this GT car. They'll probably top out right around 150, about 150 miles an hour, down to a little less than 120, about 110 miles an hour through the S's there. There's the lateral G below that, about 1.6 lateral Gs through the last turn, turn 9. There goes one of the Panos cars.
So I point him by, I believe that is Grab. He goes rocking by. So top speed for these guys, about 160, 155, 160 or so miles an hour. Now for a comparison, Jeremy, through the same sequence, let's take a look on board the vet.
They're 16th overall. Meantime, let's jump on board with J.J. LEHTO in the BMW, one of the Schnitzer factory cars, leading the GT competition in car number 42.
This is heading up the back straight right now. You hear him going through the gears, the whine of the straight cut gears. Very, very fast cars. And this is a good sign. The wiper is just occasionally wiping the windshield. No rain appearing right up there at all. So it looks like the local weather forecaster was correct. It's going to be a good afternoon after all.
Up the Andretti straightaway over one of the humps down toward turn 8. We watch some of the other GT machines battle. Let's show you your BMW GT class standings coming into this 5th round of the American Le Mans Series Championship. Sasha Masson and Lucas Lohr are teammates with Alex Job's Porsche group, just 1 point apart. Morissette and Hans Stuck share a car. That's one of the Tom Milner PTG BMWs, and then Jörg Muller in one of the Schnitzer cars. So a very tight battle for GT honors.
It is a battle. We had a very nice dinner last night with Masson and Lohr, and what a couple of charming drivers. Amazing.
A couple of young drivers in the Porsche stable, much is expected of them, of course, as the years go by. As we check your Porsche running order, top left of your screen, in GT, it's LEHTO, Stuckey, Muller, then Randy Pobst, trying to get back into contention. He is back in 8th. And we understand that the leader has come to pit road, so Andy Wallace is now your overall leader. Jan Magnussen has come to pit road. But let's get more on the GT situation downstairs to Martin Haven.
Desperately need that stop for fuel.
Now the GT battle, when we were with you at Sears Point a couple of weeks ago, you've got 4 essentially factory-backed BMWs, the white and blue cars, the Schnitzer machines, the 42 and the 43. And then you've got the 2 Tom Milner PTG entries, the 6 and the 10. Well, the 10 car, not much of a factor here. Bill Oberlin got wrecked yesterday in practice. He suffered a concussion. He's sitting out 7 days as per American Le Mans Series rules. This is your GT leader, Jörg Muller, in the 42.
And it's very interesting. It's a real battle of ego between these 2 teams. Even though the cars look very, very similar, and they are. They basically designed, and all of the pieces are built by BMW in Europe. When Milner's team, when the PTG guys get these, they naturally modify them little tiny bits. And one place where you'll see it is on the very front end of the car, what they call the splitter. Down low on the nose piece. This car here has nothing extending out. Milner's car has a little carbon fiber tray coming out to try and give them a little more downforce. They all do their own little changes. So the ego between the teams is that they might say, well, yeah, our cars are kind of the same, but we want to beat you guys.
Boris this morning, he said, hey, I brought the bad weather with me. That race was red flagged 4 laps short of the end due to rain.
I think that's all he wants to do, is just to keep circulating around the track. That's a bit of a heartbreak after such a great pass.
One of the GTS Vipers there in front of one of the GT BMWs. Your leader, the 42 car, Jörg Muller, at that wheel of that machine. And he goes by that Viper. Now that shows you how strong those V8 M3 BMWs are.
These are wonderful cars. Boy, they are just beautiful little pieces of work. They have taken advantage of a loophole. I think they'd be the first ones to admit it too. But certainly, if there's something in the rules, or if there isn't something in the rules, you try and take advantage to the nth degree of it. And they have done that. These are beautiful race cars, and I think everybody is envious of the way they've been set up, the way they go in a straight line, the way they handle it, and maybe typical of what the Audis do as well is that they are so good over bumps, both turning into corners and applying power. They are particularly strong doing that, so that seems to be a German trademark. In fact, you know what? I noticed it last week. I was telling you I had the luxury of driving an A6 Audi, trying one of those for a while. It was just such a wonderful car to drive. You get out of that car and you get into an American car, and there is a difference between the German philosophy on shock absorbers and springs to American cars. They're wonderful.
We're watching the Schnitzer M3 car circulate at the head of the class at GT.
What a nice drive for him. Johnny was with Panos, as you had mentioned earlier, and was let go, didn't really know what he was going to do, picked up by Chevrolet, and what a team up this has been.
It's been a dream team, certainly, in that 3 car. JJ LEHTO and Jörg Müller win GT in the Schnitzer BMW M3. 42 car will finish 10th overall. We have in-car looks from a host of machines. Frederick Ekblom is the 4th fastest qualifier in GT, and one of the Schnitzer that machine. We jump inside with Frederick Ekblom in one of the Schnitzer cars. Take a look at your BMW GT class points. Maassen and Mueller at the top. Just a point keeping them from Lucas Luhr and Boris Set and JJ LEHTO. We're tied for second.
You really want a close battle for points? Well, it just doesn't get any better than that. Look at that, 3 points from the top 6. This is so competitive. In fact, look at the BMW right there. You just saw it sneaking by one of the Porsches. Now this is an excellent drafting opportunity right here.
Conrad runs in 2nd spot. Ron Fellows in the 3 car is 3rd. But let's check in on the GT battle. JJ LEHTO in the 42, one of the Schnitzer BMWs, leads the pack right now, 14th overall. They did not put one of these BMW V8 machines on the pole, which was a surprise.
Very much a surprise. I really thought they would come here and dominate, because
10.2 seconds behind Bill Adam, and he's not gaining any ground on board one of the GT machines meantime.
He is, and I think this is something where Capello right now has got to start taking chances. He can no longer play a passive game. He's got to be risky.
Now we want to talk for a moment about the GT battle. The 2 Schnitzer factory BMW machines, 14th and 15th overall. You're on board with DIRK Müller, and he's a little bit behind his teammate Jörg Müller. Let's get an update on the BMW situation from pit road.
Well, I just saw DIRK Müller go into turn 1 right behind his teammate and put the brakes on remarkably early. I went up to Charlie Lamb. I said, the boy's going to race. He said, no, we're running for the championship. Jörg is currently leading. There'll be team orders here unless something unforeseen happens. So we expect those guys to run in tandem, hopefully to the checkered flag.
Müller in the 43, giving you a look. This is DIRK Müller, 2nd in class.
These are such beautiful little cars. I mean, you look at the M3s on the street, it's everybody's dream machine. They're gorgeous, but this is just like the ultimate M3 because of this little V8 race motor in it.
And you can help me get the V8 option in mine, right, Bill?
I don't think so. I think it may be an option that you and I can't afford.
Probably so. Müller doing a great job driving this machine.
Just gorgeous. You know, it's so disappointing, too, for the PTG team. I know Tom Miller and all his guys really had hoped to have a good run this weekend. We had talked back at MOSPORT again about bragging rights, that both the European and the American team, Tom Miller, they like to win. It's always good to take what is a virtually identical car and beat the competition, but also beat the other guys who are running it too. You want to prove that you've got the best team, and Milner's got to be a bit disappointed about today.
19 minutes to go, the GT battle. Here's your class leader in the 42 car. This is Jörg Müller. He's finished 5th or better in 6 of his 7 starts this season. At the top of the broadcast, we pointed out just how tight the points battle is in GT among these drivers and teams. There's the gap between 1st and 2nd in the class right now, with time starting to run out here. Martin Haven, the Porsche group, Alex Jones' team, they certainly had high hopes. And in GT, as we watch the final trip around, this is the 43 car. DIRK Müller right behind his teammate Jörg Müller, 1st and 2nd in GT.
Oh, I thought he's going to give him a little bump there.
The Schnitzer cars will finish nose to tail, 1-2 in GT. The 42 car, the Schnitzer BMW. LEHTO is the GT pole sitter today, starting 16th.
The power of the new BMW and even up the playing field. Now, I'd like to be able to show you exactly how they've done that, but the measurements involved are so tiny that it's really almost impossible. What they've done is, if you can look here, airflow into the engine goes through a size 30 millimeters wide. That's a little wider than the neck of this water bottle. Now, they've narrowed it on the BMW. Well, what is the difference? The difference is the BMW has lost a little bit of top-end speed, a little bit of punch out of the corners, and with the inclines here around Laguna Seca, that has made the battle closer between Porsche and BMW. So much so, in fact, that Sascha Massen's Porsche was fastest in the morning warm-up and qualified 3rd. That is the race in the final race at the Petit Le Mans. It could all change again.
Watching JJ LEHTO with one of those newly more restricted V8 BMWs, Bill, but he's been the class of the field here in the early going. He and his teammate Frederick Ekblom running 1-2 in GT.
He is, and he is driving so well. I think that's a large part of it. You see Jörg Müller and JJ LEHTO, they're ahead by a little bit, not a huge gap. Sasha Maassen and Lucas Luhr could easily catch up if they have a strong day today. And based on what Martin just brought out, they did have the quickest lap in warm-up, and right now,
Luhr rides third. Meantime, the car immediately in front of him, about 12 seconds in front, Jörg Muller in car number 42, and you can get a look there at the CGL telemetry in that race car.
Yeah, wouldn't you love a street car like an M3 that accelerates like this? I would take any M3 to start with. I mean, particularly in California. I think if God made a place for M3s, it's got to be out here around Monterey. Spectacular roads and countryside, and great sound to hear the straight cut gears whining.
The 42 that you're riding in, 10th overall right now. There's the GT leader, 9th overall, the 43 with Dirk Muller on board.
Such pretty cars, really good looking machines. They have giant brakes on them, plus that wonderful high horsepower motor.
V8 motor in these cars mid-season. They've been restricted a little more, the air restrictors, as we told you at the top.
The fact that it is Alex Job Racing, for BMW to be ahead so strongly, these are just phenomenally good cars.
Riding with Jörg Muller, one of the Schnitzer factory pilots. Jörg in the 42 car is 9th overall, 2nd in GT behind his teammate Dirk Muller. Heading up the backside of the racetrack.
Himself has done the minimum required distance to qualify as a finisher, but only if it takes the checkered flag. So Didier is sitting in the California sun stewing. He has 1 lap to go in this race to make sure that the team win the championship. They've changed the entire rear end. Everything back of the engine was changed in 45 minutes behind the wall, and they are ready to go for the final lap of the race, and they will get
4 hours of Le Mans. Riding with one of the BMW.
Now will be the LM 675 champion this year, so congratulations to Didier.
Renegades from Monaco. 2nd place car in GT, the 42, Jörg Muller. 10th overall. Down toward turn 5.
And it sure sounds like he is going awfully slowly. I see the heat coming off the side, but
if he is in trouble, he could lose 2nd spot here to one of the McKenna Alex Joe Porsches. Calvin Fish, what are you hearing about this?
Well, we got a report earlier that he got contact with the team and said, I've got some kind of strange vibration in the front end. They scurried around, typical Schnitzer deal, had a big powwow, and they determined that there's probably some tire buildup, not on the tire itself, but inside the rim. Sometimes they get a lot of rubber buildup as the marbles form out on the racetrack, and they think might just put the tire out of balance, and it certainly cost him the win here today unless Dirk hits trouble. But the Porsche keeps pressuring him, and they're trying to get some points back here. But Jörg is still in a good position here today to try and move ahead with this driver championship.
2 car comes across as the overall winner. The Schnitzer BMWs will finish 1, 2 in GT, 9th and 10th overall, beating the Porsche of Lucas Luhr.
Nice finish, guys.
Best finish of the season for the champion group, and for Piero and Bila, their 2nd win of the season. They were 2nd here 1 year ago. Let's show you our BMW GT standings. Unofficially, Jörg Muller takes the win. Perhaps team orders in action there. Dirk Muller had been out in front going into the last lap. They finish in 2nd. Luhr and Maassen, Auberlen and Said, one of the other BMWs, as we show you 7th through 12th in the GT category.